Welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving into the most jaw-dropping stories from around the world, from political chaos to bizarre shopping frenzies. You won't want to miss this wild ride.
All right, folks, let's talk about the man who loves a good deal more than a seagull loves a discarded hot dog, Donald J. Trump. Now, whether you love him, hate him, or just enjoy the spectacle, you can't deny that he has a knack for keeping things interesting. And by interesting, I mean chaotic. Recently, the former president has been making waves again, this time with his bold or perhaps baffling approach to tariffs. You see, Trump has decided to stir the pot by imposing new tariffs on electronics. Yes, electronics, the very lifeblood of our modern tech-obsessed world. Now, you might be wondering, why electronics? Well, your guess is as good as mine. Maybe he thought, what's the one thing people can't live without? Let's make that more expensive. It's like he's playing a game of economic Jenga, pulling out random blocks to see what happens. The result? Higher prices for consumers, frustrated shoppers, and a lot of head-scratching from economists. It's as if he woke up one morning and said, you know what would really help the economy? Making everything cost more? Genius, right? Or maybe not. But wait, there's more. These tariffs were supposed to go into effect this week. But in a rare moment of clarity, or perhaps panic, Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross stepped in. He essentially told everyone to pump the brakes, saying, hold your horses, folks. Let's not rush into this economic minefield just yet. So, the tariffs have been delayed until December. That's right, businesses now have a few extra months to prepare, or more realistically, to panic. Because let's face it, adjusting to sudden policy changes is like trying to fix a flat tire while the car is still moving. And just when you thought things couldn't get more unpredictable, there are whispers, no rumors, that Trump might set his sights on semiconductors next. You know, those tiny magical chips that power everything from your smartphone to your toaster. Yes, even your toaster could be caught in the crossfire of this tariff war. Imagine a world where your phone costs twice as much, your laptop becomes a luxury item, and your toaster, well, let's just say breakfast might get a lot more expensive. It's like a dystopian sci-fi movie, but with fewer robots and more economic uncertainty, because nothing says stable policy like potentially crippling a global industry on a whim. It's a comedy of errors, or maybe just errors. Either way, buckle up, folks. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
In shocking news, a man has been arrested for allegedly setting fire to the Pennsylvania governor's residence while his family was inside. Thankfully, Governor Josh Shapiro and his family were unharmed, but this incident is a stark reminder of vulnerabilities in even the most secure locations. The alleged arsonist was taken into custody after a brief standoff with police. It's a good thing Shapiro wasn't fighting wildfires and arsonists during his tenure in California.
The sports world mourns the loss of Kyren Lacy, a promising NFL prospect who tragically passed away at 24. Lacy, a standout wide receiver at Tulane University, had a bright future ahead. Details are still emerging, but he was involved in a police pursuit in Houston that ended in a fatal crash. Authorities are investigating the circumstances leading up to the incident. This is a heartbreaking loss for Lacy's family, friends, and the football community. A stark reminder to cherish every moment.
It seems high school sports have been infiltrated by some less than sportsmanlike conduct. What should have been a thrilling and competitive basketball game turned into a spectacle of poor judgment and aggression. The energy in the gymnasium, which started as excitement for the game, quickly shifted to shock and disbelief as tempers flared on the court. A high school basketball game descended into chaos, not because of a bad ref call, but due to a player's aggression. Witnesses described the scene as something out of a movie, with players shoving, yelling, and eventually one player taking things way too far. The game, which was supposed to foster camaraderie and school spirit, instead became a cautionary tale. This player repeatedly fouled an opponent, leading to a broken nose and legal trouble. The injured player, who was simply trying to play the game, now faces weeks of recovery. Meanwhile, the offending player is dealing with the consequences of their actions, both on and off the court. It's a stark reminder of how quickly things can escalate when emotions aren't kept in check. Intentionally inflicting pain isn't in the basketball playbook, folks. Coaches and referees work tirelessly to teach players the rules of the game and the importance of fair play. Yet moments like these highlight the need for even more emphasis on emotional control and respect for opponents. This isn't the NBA, where a flagrant foul is a minor inconvenience. In professional sports, players are held accountable, but they also have the experience and maturity to handle high-pressure situations. High school athletes, on the other hand, are still learning these skills, making incidents like this all the more concerning. This is high school, where you're supposed to learn teamwork and sportsmanship. It's a time to build character, not tear each other down. The lessons learned on the court are meant to extend beyond the game, shaping young athletes into responsible and respectful individuals. Instead, we got a lesson in what not to do on the court. The incident serves as a stark example of how poor sportsmanship can overshadow the positive aspects of the game. It's a reminder that every action has consequences, and those consequences can ripple far beyond the court. Let's hope this serves as a wake-up call for everyone involved. From players to coaches to spectators, there's a shared responsibility to uphold the integrity of the game. Let's strive to make high school sports a place where young athletes can grow, learn, and thrive, both as players and as people. Our former president, the man who stared into a solar eclipse without protective glasses, is at it again. Yes, the same man who defied basic science is now defying tradition, and this time it's not just his gaze that's questionable, it's his taste. Trump has unveiled plans to give the White House a makeover, but this isn't your typical renovation to preserve history or fix structural issues. No, this is a Trump-style overhaul where subtlety and restraint are left at the door. Imagine the White House transformed into a gaudy Mar-a-Lago North. Think less People's House and more Trump's Palace. Ornate gold accents, over-the-top decor, and a design aesthetic that screams excess. Gold-plated everything, from the furniture to the walls. Portraits of Trump in every room, gazing down like a modern-day monarch. And chandeliers, so many chandeliers that even Liberace might say, that's a bit much. Trump says he wants to keep his real estate juices flowing with this project, because why focus on policy or governance when you can focus on gilding the nation's most iconic residence? He's treating the White House like a fixer-upper, as if it's just another property in his portfolio. Forget its historical significance or its role as a symbol of democracy. This is about making it tremendous. It's a bold move, no doubt. But then again, subtlety has never been his strong suit. Whether it's his speeches, his tweets, or his design choices, Trump has always been about making a statement. Loud, flashy, and impossible to ignore. The question is, will the American people embrace this vision of the White House? Or will they see it as yet another example of Trump's penchant for turning everything he touches into a monument to himself? Only time will tell.
Even the ivory towers of academia aren't immune to legal brawls. This time, Harvard University is suing the federal government over a review of $9 billion in funding. Harvard claims the review threatens academic freedom, because nothing says freedom like clinging to billions in government handouts. Suing the government over funding. That's like a toddler throwing a tantrum over sandwich shapes. Harvard, you're prestigious. Maybe focus on that instead of courtroom drama.
A sightseeing helicopter crashed into the Hudson River, claiming 6 lives. Among the victims were a Spanish family of 5 and the experienced pilot. The cause of the crash is under investigation, but terrorism has been ruled out. This tragedy reminds us of life's fragility and the importance of cherishing loved ones.
Leave it to SNL to find humor in baffling trade policies. This week, the show took aim at Trump's tariffs with a hilarious sketch. The sketch featured Jason Momoa as Jesus Christ, dropping truth bombs about protectionist trade policies. Alec Baldwin returned as Trump, delivering a spot-on portrayal of his unique economic diplomacy. SNL proves that when life gives you lemons, or tariffs, you make comedy gold.
It seems humanity has gone off the deep end. And no, I'm not talking about climate change or reality TV. I'm talking about Trader Joe's mini tote bags. These tiny bags, barely big enough for gum, are selling for upwards of $1,000 online. That's right, folks, $1,000 for a bag smaller than a chihuahua's purse. And the craziest part? People are actually buying them. Trader Joe's, if you're listening, now's the time to release a whole line of miniature merchandise.
Katy Perry, Gayle King, and Lauren Sanchez are trading designer duds for spacesuits. They're part of Blue Origin's upcoming all-female crewed mission. Perry will bring her sparkle, King will document the journey, and Sanchez will show anything is possible. This mission is a major win for women in STEM and a leap for womankind. Here's hoping they pack a karaoke machine for the ride.
That's it for today's shocking headlines. Which story surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more incredible stories. See you next time. Final word count, 1762 words.